it's been a minute because I feel like I've heard of Culture Fix, but like didn't like never actually like chatted with you. So it's
Yeah,
nice to
well,
have this.
it's nice finally getting it done. And what an exciting time! Like, brand new single, Allie X, like that is surely
Wild.
like mad.
It's like literally, I'm still freaking out about it. I'm just like, wow, I can't believe it because she's been such an inspiration for me for a while. So it's like it's just really like awesome. I'm just like living in it for a second. Just really happy.
So let's go back to the start and like think about you, like young Mike. What was the kind of first music that you discovered that you really loved that kind of made you think, right, this is for me, like I want to be a musician?
I would say so. Like when I first started, I was doing acting for a while when I was younger. And I did it since I was like 8. But I always like was like a songwriter and was singing constantly as a kid, and my family hated it. And they were like, "Shut up!" And I would just like keep singing, keep singing, keep singing, and I never stopped. And now they're like really like grateful that I continue to be an artist. But I would say like when I really listened to like Janelle Monáe, it kind of like did a turn for me because I was just like, oh wow, like they can Janelle can make music about who they are, and I'm like also the same. I'm pansexual as well, so it was like someone I connected with on a different level. And musically, obviously like Prince, Bowie, George Michael, it's like they're all inspirations for me. But like seeing other queer people finally start to like put music out and own the scene is what helped me like push myself to be like I can do this too. Um, so yeah, that's like someone who really
Yeah.
helped me a lot.
I think as well, it's so important as well, the kind of the pansexual sort of, I guess not coming out, but introducing yourself as a pansexual because there's not many people in the music industry that have kind of done that, so it's important to kind of have another role model, etc. So yeah, very cool. So
Exactly.
at what kind of point did you then start to have a sort of shift and think, I'm going to kind of lean more towards music than acting?
When I started to notice that with acting, I kept waiting and waiting for other opportunities on other people's stories and how, auditioning constantly to like tell other stories. And I realized like music is kind of, I get to own it. Like I get to own the story I'm telling. I get to own the visuals. I get to own, I mean, I'm not with the label, so I'm independent. So I get to like have a full vision of what I see. And I felt just in complete control. And I was just like, wow, this is what's fulfilling me as an artist. Like I get to like make all these videos and I still act in them and do all this stuff. So I'm still acting. It's just like on my terms instead of constantly waiting for someone to like care about me. So yeah, that's what when it leaned in to music.
So kind of thinking back to like 2019, you put out Heart, and that's like your kind of first single, like I'm here. How did that feel? I'm guessing that you've been working on music prior to that, and the first one that you put out into the world. Is it terrifying?
Yeah, it was. Oh my god, it was so terrifying. I remember I was. I feel like a lot. I love the queer gay nightlife, but a lot of them are very like. It's hard to impress
Yeah.
people and for people to like care. So when I released that, I was like really nervous about how the reaction was gonna be. But it was actually like the greatest reaction I could have ever gotten as like an independent artist who released his first song ever. It was like it was pretty wild to see the support I got from people I didn't know. Like Chester Lockhart was one person who like reposted and then we connected through social media and now we're friends, like just from doing art. It was pretty wild, like just seeing the people who would like post on their stories and support the song. And the video was a dream of mine actually, of like
Okay.
it was a dream and then I was like, wait, I need this vision to come true. Like
Yeah.
I need this bed scene. Like it was more that obviously every time I have a visual, it's like way big budget where I can't fully just have to like dumb it down to like what is it's
Yeah.
still the same story and still the same vision but like smaller. But that was like the video's the dream I had. So I woke up and I was like, well, I need to do this.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess it's funny how these things all kind of fall into place, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
who'd have thought you would dream up your music video? Do you still kind of feel like that now? It's single four now we're on, so do you still have that kind of nervousness like the night before a release?
Like, well, actually, Wait, is it one? Yeah, this is my fourth. Yeah, yeah. It's still the same. Like it's still like I'm really nervous and just hope people connect with it. Is my main point though. Is like I still want to find like people to still connect with the music that I'm writing, and the music that I'm telling. So I'm hoping just more people will discover the music and connect and can go back and like listen to other stuff too. But yeah, I still get jitters and nervous. Just it's more of like a fun nervous though. It's like, oh, I can't wait for people to finally hear the song and it's out and I can focus on
Yeah.
the next thing, and like it's like really fun to like just celebrate it.
And as you say, like with more music out there, people will then kind of like dig into your back catalogue. They'll then follow if they like it, and it's kind of like a sort of steamroll effect, isn't it?
Yeah, because right now, so "Sex for Breakfast" is the second single on my EP that's coming out next year. So I'm just because Switch was the first, and I'm just excited to like give a body of work to people, and like I've been working so hard on this, so I'm just like so happy for people. I hope they can just listen from start to finish and just like zone out, whether they're like high on an edible or whatever, just just like listening, just like living in it for a moment,
Yeah.
like at least giving me like 30 minutes of their time or however long the EP is, of just like that one moment to see if they connect would be beautiful. Even if they just listen to one song, that's amazing too. But I hope that that could happen for a few people.
So you've mentioned the EP. Your kind of influences like Janelle Monáe, Prince, Bowie, like they are all kind of album artists. So is that a kind of long term goal for you to kind of start building up that sort of album discography, I guess?
Yeah, for Cut Velvet, the EP, that's the EP title. Um, a lot of inspiration started with Prince, Bowie, and George Michael, and then as like the songs kept continuing and like growing and growing, I was focusing on the songs and then going back to like contemporary artists like Bleachers, Saint Vincent, Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
I was like listening to them a lot and just getting different references of different sounds that I love. And other artists too, and just like kind of living in it, and with mixed with like Prince, Bowie, and George Michael, and just like all coming together, and we found this amazing like 70s synth pop sound that I just can't wait for people to. It's like funky, like it's just really awesome. And there's just moments of the record that like take a left turn in some songs that you're just like, wait, what? But it just goes off, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I love Bleachers a lot because he has a lot of like real instruments. Like Switch has a trumpet, and I really want to incorporate like solos, and just like real like live like music too, mixed with like some sonic sounds and everything like that. So
And,
yeah,
and that's such a great part of like the sort of 70s, 80s kind of like disco sort of synth
yeah,
aesthetic, is these live instruments and like, you can tell it's a real trumpet or you can tell it's a real kind of drum beat, etc.
mhm.
So yeah, it's very cool that you're kind of inspired by that.
Yeah,
Um,
really.
you've kind of mentioned like the sort of challenge of being an independent artist in terms of like getting your vision out there and maybe having to make it slightly smaller than it is in your head, like the Spielberg version becomes slightly more indie.
Yeah.
Um, how do you keep yourself motivated? Because I'd imagine, if you're signed to a label, you've kind of got that pressure that's going to keep you going. But
Mhm.
as an independent artist, I guess you kind of have to bring that motivation yourself in a sense.
Yeah, I feel like the pressure, it could still be there, and it still is there. It's just a little. The thing that labels do give is like they do pitch and they do more for that, but I still have like the freedom to like do like music videos and visions that I see, that I personally see, and not have to be approved by somebody. Um, it's I still have pressure though of like wanting it to be like perfect and wanting to like make sure it gets out there and people can listen and like all that stuff. So it still has the same pressure. I just think it's a little less because like labels kind of have the chance to just drop you, and then you're just owed all this money to this label that doesn't care about you anymore. So at least I don't have that right now, which is like amazing. It's just kind of like all steady with like just me right now, which is great. I still have a team though, which is amazing, that I found in LA when I moved.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like a crazy label.
Oh, I think as well, you also have that kind of safety net, I guess. Like you say, as an independent artist, you hear about so many artists that are like trapped in contracts, they're not allowed to release music, and it seems so kind of structured and kind of controlled. which you can still have, but I guess on your terms you can have a bit of control, and it's the power dynamic slightly different.
Yeah, I mean, but it's with a label, it's just from different experiences. I guess everyone has their own experience, but I guess if you see Twitter too, a lot of like artists are coming out and just being like, my label won't let me do this, my label won't let me do that, and I'm just like, damn, that's so upsetting. Like to the person, and like the art that they are giving to the world is kind of just being like taken from them. So there's a part of me that's really grateful to be independent and being able to like do this without a label. But yeah.
So I need to ask, how did it come about? How did your collaboration with Allie X come about? Was it a case of like sliding into DMs, or a friend of a friend, or how did it happen?
So my creative director of Cut Velvet, we were working on it for a while. And one of the songs, it just kept popping up. We kept listening. We loved the song, but we're like, something's missing. Like something is missing. And then he offered to send it to Allie because he's been working with Allie for a few years. And I was like, I mean, that would be amazing for her to just hear it. Like that was my vision. I was just like, oh, she's just gonna hear it and probably give feedback. And then when I got the email back of her being like, yeah, I'm into this, I was literally like, what?
Fangirl moment.
I just like dropped my coffee. I was like getting coffee and I dropped it, and I was just like, this is like crazy. So that like that totally like also pushed my like butt to like get this EP as well, because like obviously I was still doing that, but to like know somebody like that was into it made me feel, because it's hard when you're by yourself. Like sometimes I go back and forth, is this good, is this good, is this good? Like it's always like not sure because you're sometimes in your own bubble. But to hear somebody like that be into the sound was like really like motivating and amazing.
Yeah. And was it all done kind of remotely? Over
Sorry?
kind of like, was it done remotely, like over Zoom, over kind of?
Yeah. So she left the country to Canada, so we both worked in person with Jordan Palmer. And then, so it was kind of like emails back, approving the song of both of us. We like this, she likes that. Like, it was like going like that with that producer.
So, I mean, I don't want to like pry too much, but like, can you give me a little insight into the story behind Sex for Breakfast? Was it like one particular relationship that really, like, I'm not saying name and shame, but
There's this guy that like, it was just one morning. We met and like we connected like hard, like really, really hard. And it was after this morning, because I had this session with Skylar that day, and I woke up in his bed the next morning, and I like went into this session like we had this relationship where it's like we knew we were like really perfect for each other, but we both didn't really have, it wasn't the right timing to be in a relationship. So we were kind of like denying what we had. It was kind of like, oh no, we're just friends. And then we're like making out. And then we're just like, wait, no, we're just friends. So it was like this cat and mouse game that like ended up having the song. Like that, I came in like frustrated about the situation. And I was like, how, like I literally, when I walked in, I was like, I don't know how the fuck we're going to be friends. And that's like how the song starts. So yeah, that was like what I came in with. I came in with the energy that happened that morning of like, okay, I don't know, I'm like really into this, like let's make this happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Has he heard the song?
Yeah, he has heard the song.
Is he a fan?
Yeah.
Good.
We'll keep it at that.
Okay.
Like,
I'll move on. So let's talk about Allie X. Like, what would you say? Like, I'm going to say top 3 Allie X songs.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm obsessed with Super Duper, which I think a lot of people are. Focus though is like, I listen to Focus still every day. Like it's just like, it makes me really emotional just listening to the song.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally, I love like Cape God. I listen to nonstop, and I just like, I was listening to it on the plane ride to New York from LA, and I just listened to it on loop the whole ride, and I was just like falling asleep and just waking up. Like, I feel like that record is a masterpiece, and I don't think like enough people are talking about it.
Yeah, I think
honestly, everything on Cape God is just like insane.
Yeah, I keep finding myself going back to Glam. Like,
Yeah.
it just like all of a sudden it came on shuffle recently, and it's just been this kind of compulsion to keep playing it. Just a great pop song.
Yeah, everyone always loves Casanova. That's a great one. I mean, she's a superstar. So
It really is. Um, and it's exciting to think that you're now part of her musical sort of
wild.
history now. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so exciting.
it's really
Um,
insane.
so music video plans for Sex for Breakfast? Or is it happened? Is it going to happen?
So I was supposed to shoot it already, which I'm really sad about. But also, like, I understand the DP got COVID literally the week we were supposed to shoot. So right now it's on hold. I was obviously so sad that he got COVID, and I was making sure he was okay. But then a part of me is also just sad because like I can't shoot the video and like can't show everyone on release day of the video. But the video is still coming.
Yeah. On the subject, like, let's not make about COVID, but like, have you had the chance to kind of perform again live, like well, not post, but like, now we're kind of semi returning to normality?
Yeah, when I released Switch, I had a bar crawl and just like performing at all the bars the weekend of Pride. I worked at all the gay bars for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I
You're like, you owe me.
yeah, it was just like, can I please perform my song? And they were all like super supportive. Like everyone was like, yeah, duh. Like you don't even have to ask. So yeah, I have been performing. I'm gonna perform Sex for Breakfast as well. I'm gonna do a little performance. Probably a few, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Cut Velvet is coming 2022. The name obviously like sums up kind of what you have kind of spoken about with like sort of 70s, like disco soul influences and things. Can you tell me anything about any of the other tracks? Obviously, we know Switch is going to be on there. Have you got any other tracks sort of finalized?
Yeah, there's a song. It's called "Fuck Everyone." Is like, I cannot wait. This is the one I was telling you. Like, there are songs on the record that go left, and it's just like this world that you're like, whoa, I did not see that coming. And this is one of those songs where you can just live in it. And I was listening to it last night, like really high, and I was just like, wow, this is just like amazing. So I cannot wait for people to hear that one. Also, there's another song called "Come Down," which sums up, I feel like probably a lot of people's feelings of just like when you're really happy, you kind of picture like the sad stuff coming, or like even like I can't live in the moments sometimes of just being happy. I'm like thinking like, oh, this won't last, or like, oh, this is gonna go terrible, blah 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 blah. But instead of like just like living in that moment at the time, so there's that as well, which I can't wait for people to hear. So.
I mean, I'm excited for Fuck Everyone. That just sounds like angry. It's
it's going to be a turn of what you think. I'm happy that's like what your first impression is, but I can't wait for you to listen to the lyrics in the song. You're going to be like, oh, that's different than what I thought it was going to be about.
Okay, I'm intrigued. We need to speak about this incredible Mark Ronson duet, and
You did your research.
yeah, of course, of course. It's an exciting moment. What's going on?
Yeah, so
Can you say anything?
I mean, all I can say right now is I reacted to a TikTok. I don't know if you saw that. And I rewrote a verse, and he freaking reposted it, which is just crazy. He reposted it and reacted to it, and yeah, and recently I met him, and that's all I can say right now. But yeah, it's really cool.
That is exciting. Like, we'll move on again. So we've kind of spoken about albums for kind of future plans and putting out the EP. Anything else? Are you kind of thinking like wider scale touring, or are you going to stick with kind of New York just now?
Wait, for where I'm living?
Yeah, no, for like kind of performances.
Yeah, right now it's just New York, and then I'm gonna be going back to LA, so I'll be performing there too. But yeah, right now I'm sticking to New York for the next like few months. I'm just gonna be like performing here and writing more and more sessions and stuff like that, and getting the EP like finalized. That's like what I'm up to right
now. Last thing I need to ask. So again, it's a hard question, but you have 3 all-time favorite albums.
Ooh, okay. Control by SZA right away. It's so good. Um, I'm trying to think other. I mean, I like so many. Um, I really do. I'm going back to Cape Cod, but I really do love that album. Um, Honestly, Blonde by Frank Ocean as well.
Yeah.
They're like my three right now.
And would you say that's kind of like a snapshot of what you were listening to at the moment as well?
Oh, I listened to I listened to Control like since it's been out. Like I have non-stop listened to that album. That's always something I just go back to, and I'm just listening to it. SZA's the way she forms her melodies and the way she constructs her songs is something I'm so inspired by. So yeah, I hope to be as great as her one day. So
Funny, you get these albums that just kind of weave their way into your life, and it's not like
oh,
you're consciously always playing them, but they just are always there.
yeah.
No, well, I mean, it's been so nice to talk to you, and I'm so excited for everyone to hear Sex for Breakfast. It's amazing. And EP, lots of exciting things. And Mark Ronson, like
Wild.
it's all looking so good. So yeah, really appreciate your time, and it's been lovely chatting to you.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah.